Welcome to section 4, where we'll be focusing on styling, a topic that we've been postponing up until now. The focus of this section will be to show you that your current knowledge of how to use CSS is 100% compatible with React and its principles. But we'll also explore a new concept, the idea of using CSS in JS, which is a growing trend in the JavaScript ecosystem, especially the one centered around React. Now, we'll put all of this into practice by using styled components, a library that's used by both big brands and small agencies to craft style systems and write CSS that scales. Now, in this video, we'll cover what it's like to style React components with Good Ol CSS and explore several ways you can accomplish this in terms of file structure and code architecture. So, in our application, you may have already noticed that we've written around 200 lines of CSS off screen. And I've been doing this to make the demos more visually appealing, and I hope you've taken the time to explore these already in the provided code examples. Now might be a good time to pause and give those a quick browse if you haven't already. So, the first difference from a more traditional project you may have noticed was that all of those styles were separated into different files, depending on the component where they're used. Now, if you wanted to, you could write all of your CSS in a single file. There's nothing stopping you. For example, index.css is a good candidate for this. It already came with the application. But you should already be aware of all the downsides of doing something like that for anything that is not a trivial application. So instead, I recommend you write CSS as component-based modules, the way the React team recommends it when using Create React App. So that's what we've been doing so far. We've been writing component-specific CSS in separate files. So, for example, the job creation for component has its own CSS file with styles that are specific for that component, and that component only. It's the same with the rest of the components we've written out so far. So if we have all of these files, how is the final CSS generated? Well, if you look at the Elements tab of the console, you'll see a bunch of style tags in the head section. Now, this might alarm you that all of these CSS files end up being delivered separately, but this is not the case. Webpack hot module reloading treats all of these files as separate in development, so that everything could reload without a page refresh. And you may have noticed that in these videos so far. Everything was smooth, we didn't have to refresh, everything was spot on. But when you bundle a build for production, Webpack will generate a single CSS file. The classes will be inserted in the order in which they appear in the program's runtime. So, the index CSS and the app CSS will be the first files appended to the final bundle. Now, because this order is unpredictable and important, none of the classes in your CSS files should attempt to manipulate things out of their scope. This is something you have to keep in mind when writing this sort of component-based CSS. So, what about third-party CSS? Well, for example, Bootstrap. Well, by all means, you can feel free to include it. You can install it via npm, or you could add the CDN link into your index.html file, and that would work just fine. Now, another concern you might have at this point is auto-prefixing. So, do you need to install anything to have that handled for you? No, not at all. It's actually already handled for you by Create React Apps config. So, here's an example of what the included transpiler will do to your CSS. Really helpful, right? So, what about Css Processors? Now, you can use Sass and Less if you want. It's really easy to integrate if you follow the docs linked here. And if this is something you're familiar with, something that you worked with for years now, then go for it. It's a great tool. However, I'll try to sway you into using CSS in JS, as it is a much better fit for React's component-based system.